So it's been a while since we've done one of these, unless you all want to count my 11-minute long rant video where I explain how the very structure of how these shows are produced is essentially what's killing it, as well as the whole shonen genre. Fun stuff, but pretending everything's going okay, let's go ahead and just talk about what's been some of the bigger things been going on. Now, obviously, I haven't covered the past several episodes, so we're just going to talk about the big, interesting points, which there are a pretty good amount of. First up, the idea that Ignace is the villain. Now, we saw that when Yusaku dueled Goatee Guy, that's his name. We saw that when he dueled that guy, he was saying how Ignace is going to bring the world to ruin. Revolver has also stated that his goal is to stop the spread of technology and potentially stop the concept of singularity and artificial intelligence. And a lot of what Ignace has said and a lot of his dialogue has also potentially put that idea into the viewers that he is the villain. Obviously, he wants to increase the intelligence of Yusaku's Roomba, for example. There have been several scenes where he's sort of hinted at that he maybe either despises humans or thinks he's better or has plans to be better. Now, obviously, we saw that the work that he was doing with the robot was to let him fly, which I still love. But I sort of like the idea that it's kind of playing with what could happen. Like, I could see it going in the direction that Ignis and Cyburst are the bad guys. I doubt it. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Loves to bait and switch villains. They love that final twist. It seems a little too easy and too obvious to just make it that evil computer villain type thing. The whole theme, a big theme of Vrains has been how we choose to use what we have. Like Yusaku choosing to seek vengeance, Aoi choosing to want to impress her brother, but then later wanting to just be a hero, Goki wanting to use his powers to have these kids look up to him. All these things in this show go back to that idea that it doesn't matter what it is or how it came to be. What matters is how you choose to use it. So I think to then make it that Ignis would be the villain would be a big betrayal of that theme. I think ultimately, if done correctly, when we get to that big revelation, I think that they'll play up the moral grayness of everything that's been going on. Like, is Yusaku technically a hero even if his motivation is vengeance and to hurt the people who hurt him? Is Revolver technically a bad guy even though he hasn't really A, killed anybody, and also B, that he is doing what he thinks will benefit the world? If all this is done right, then you will know who you side with in this because of the actions of the characters, because one has chosen to save people when he didn't have to, and because the other has chosen to hurt people when he didn't have to. I keep saying this could be done right because, case in point, our last big villain. Remember how they built him up for 150 episodes as this big, evil, hulking monster, and what does it turn out? He's got some poorly described, convoluted plot to bring his daughter back or rule existence, or I'm still not over Arc 5, people. Moving on from there, we get these. I'm not going to talk about the recap. I did a 11-minute long rant video. Speaking of the last two episodes, I kind of like the visual metaphor of the underground part of the city, the more technical, unappealing part being represented by a sewer. I know it's an easy visual cue and you see it all the time, but it's a classic. And also, I love the way it's presented, like the idea that the data streams. Like, so what does it look like? A stream, and it's under the city because it's under the surface level type thing. So it's an easy to use metaphor, but I also love the color presentation. I love that sort of lime green, like almost sort of like an alien skin color against the sort of black, gray, sort of soulless type color. I don't know why, it was just mirrored. It gives sort of a creepier than necessary atmosphere to the whole thing. And then Yusaku gets attacked by a monster, a legit monster, and I love how the monster kind of looked in a weird way like Ignis. That sort of same cybery design type. I would love for it to turn out that it's a corrupted thing from the cybers. And I love how it sort of creates this sense of science and universe to the whole thing. That would be very easy. Just a lot of times they've done it where they've made it monsters attack characters in these shows, and it's just like another Yu-Gi-Oh card. I like the idea that it's its own monster, it's its own creepy thing, and it just sort of made the atmosphere of the scene feel much better than I would have expected otherwise. And then we get what has been kind of the big thing. We get Emma's big sort of last hurrah, at least for the rest of the story arc. Shut up, phone. This was done well. I should probably be annoyed that there's a whole 2-minute sequence of Ignis and Emma just chewing scenery just to waste time. But it's Ignis and Emma chewing scenery. The actors playing these characters are clearly having the time of their lives. Who am I to deny the fun of the situation? I love Ignis too much. Then we move on to a duel I was never expecting to see, Emma versus Revolver. I quite liked this. I like that unlike Yusaku, Revolver actually uses consistent cards and the same strategy and searching, and all these things our protagonist should be doing that all our side characters are doing. The duel was a little one-sided. I never at any point believed that Emma could beat Revolver, but I feel like that ultimately kind of played into what made the scene scary. In a way. Like, when we last saw Revolver, Yusaku kicked his ass. So therefore, it would be really easy to stop sort of building up the character's terror or why the character should be feared. But no, they've sort of shown that since that loss, he's only pushed himself to get stronger. And I kind of like the idea that Yusaku and Revolver were like 3 inches away. It doesn't really add anything to the story, but it does sort of give you that fear of, well, Revolver probably just looks like a normal dude, at least as far as Yu-Gi-Oh! Is concerned. Maybe these two intersect paths all the time. Maybe they've been next to each other at the urinal. You never know. And it does sort of bring the sort of fear to it. But above all else, they show that, because Revolver flat out says, hey, want to just occupy me for 5 minutes? That's kind of weird. But then they duel, and Revolver is just kind of testing out strategies, and you sort of get the impression he's just sort of warming up. And then he just takes her out, like just does not care. I like the new topological monster. I'm probably not going to play it, although Bomber Dragon has done a lot of good for me. But I liked when Emma was defeated and Yusaku went to go. Also, is it just me, or was the way Yusaku's face was drawn, he kind of looked like he needed sleep? I don't know. But I liked that when Emma died, it wasn't the big, graceful, heroic death. It had this very sense of groundedness to it, in the sense that she's not going to her death happy, she's not accepting her fate. She actually seems sad. She seems unhappy. She doesn't want to die. Okay, die. I'm sure she'll come back to life. I like that idea. I like that it kind of gives this level of fear and reality to it. This isn't just someone going out. There is a sense of weight to it when the character is very clearly sad of their own demise or fearing their own demise, as opposed to just kind of giving into it. It's like when they did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and spoilers for a movie that's like 7 months old, when Yondu dies and like they don't make him smile, it's just sort of, he's dying. Yeah, he did it to save the day, but he's dying. That's sad, and this is why we should be sad. And they do that here, and I think it's done very well. I mean, again, I liked Emma. Anyone who infuses emotion into this plot is a plus. So it was sad to see her go. I do think, though, they did it the right way, and I like that she had her final effect. She gave Yusaku what he needs to hopefully decipher this, but it's also sort of, she did herself in. Her greed, her desire for treasure, her desire to go off on her own, it is ultimately what killed her. Obviously, the lunatic with the gun dragons did it too. But I thought it was very well done. I thought it was very well executed. And I'm really excited to see where this is going. Whole world is being taken over by hentai tentacles, and the last shot of the episode is a T2 reference. Can't go wrong there. But what did you think? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on this episode. If you agree with any of my points, if you thought Emma's death was good, if you think Ignis could be evil. And as for this week's TCG question of the week, I know this is a week old, but I'm still hearing people talk about it, especially because we're getting announcements about it. So for the Extreme Forces English release, they have decided we will get no Link Vrains pack. Instead, we will get the links as just the imports. And a lot of people are mad about this. A lot of people really wanted the Link Vrains pack. A lot of people are afraid, when does that mean we get the good ones like Needle Fiber and all that stuff? My personal opinion, I don't care. Besides the fact that there's nothing in the Link Vrains pack for decks I'd like to use, I genuinely could care less. The thing is that I get kind of sick of all these extra booster releases, like your frickin' high-speed riders, your wing raiders. The thing is that the main sets have become so lackluster and uninteresting. Now, occasionally you'll get a Trickstar, a True Draco, a Zodiac. You'll get like one good archetype of set, but it's mostly pack filler, and that's why people don't bother buying it. For every one good card I've pulled from just circuit break packs on my way home from work. I've pulled 50 of those stupid crawler crap. As far as I'm concerned, stop doing all these pack filler archetypes, make the sets half long, and stop doing extra boosters. You get enough money out of me already. But that's just my thought. If you wanted the Link Vrains pack, fine. I mean, half the stuff, we get more reprint sets in the TCG anyways, so you could totally whatever people want from this reprinted old labor. Hell, Needle Fiber, people don't even care about Crystons. It's all the stupid Quasar combos. But tell me that in the comment section below, and as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and let's see how the world deals with hentai tentacles attacking the internet.